My name is Chris Gray, I'm the Managing Director for our ManpowerGroup here in the UK, and I just want to say thank you in the first instance for joining us today. I know a lot of you, especially the team who were training this morning, you travelled from distance. I've heard distances of Newcastle and Exeter. Well done getting down here. I know you do this month in, month out, but good to have you down here today. Thank you to the spectators who are joining us, and also thank you to ManpowerGroup School for hosting, and also Blind Cricket England and Wales for helping us make this happen. I just wanted to say that this afternoon, firstly, is all about having fun. It's also about raising awareness on our part, learning about everything that the visually impaired have to go through, so that we can learn how to support you in everything that we do in employment moving forward. But above all, it's about drawing inspiration from an amazing group of people. And of course, people with visual impairment face challenges which are greater than myself, certainly every day. And it's just amazing how you can draw on attributes and personal characteristics such as tenacity, resilience, determination, motivation and teamwork to get you through every day and overcome these problems and challenges which seem ordinary to many of us. But I know you all have your own stories, but I'd just like to draw on Hassan's story, which was in The Guardian a few months ago, I think it was, Hassan. And I know your story is about, it started in Multan in Pakistan, and you woke up one morning, age 9, you were blind, and your sister followed a similar journey, unfortunately, and came to London in 1995. But cricket was what you were playing before you went blind, and you fell out of love with it, but came back into love with it through test match specialty, and then, of course, the Australian teacher in Linden Lodge, and then, of course, joining through Metro, and that love with cricket came back, I think. And in your journey, you talk about meeting people who inspired you, and bringing the real you, the real Hassan, out. And of course, here you are now today, an international cricketer and media star. Inspiration indeed. And it's stories like that where you draw on that character and those attributes that take people like Hassan and, of course, everyone else here in this visually impaired cricket team through your incredible journeys. And it's stories like that we as an employment agency need to learn about, to share with our clients who are struggling, to be quite honest, with finding talent to help them deliver their services to their business, to their clients in turn. And what we talk about nowadays in Manpower is the human age, and the skills shortage continues to grow, if that makes sense. And we are very keen to shine a light on untapped pools of talent. And it's unacceptable that we have unemployment in the visually impaired community at around about 60-odd% within the context of an unemployment rate of about 5% in the UK. And that's it's a sad statistic. And so we are inspired by not only you guys, but also people like Gary Dunford, who helped pull this together. Gary, just put your hand up because you've been very much listening to this. And then, of course, people like John, who heads up Blind Cricket, England and Wales, who do this every month, every week, making these things happen. And we're delighted to be here, have our own team to play you today. And I know it'll be very competitive. You all look great in your new kit, by the way, guys, and they look fantastic. And we want to play our part today and also in the future on and off the pitch. I'd also just like to say thank you to the umpires, also in very smart kit there in green and blue. I know you'll be managing us. You probably have more of a challenge managing our team, okay, today, so please guide us. John, I know you wanted to say a few words, so please.
First of all, big thank you to Chris and to Manpower UK and to Gary Dunford for getting this all together for us today. Great effort there. I'll tell you a little bit about Blind Cricket England Wales and the women's programme as well. First, I just want to thank a few more, but I'll thank the umpires, as Chris said there, and Ladbroke School for letting us use their great facilities for the last year. I'd like to thank Jeanette, the two Jeffs, Lynn, Mark Allen, and then you will have been involved coaching as well over the last year. Thank you very much. And the reason I wanted to thank those people especially is that they're not the only ones around the country. The volunteers, the helpers, make this game happen as well. You know, the people that get up at 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning, pick people up all around the county, drive to the game, maybe make the team, and sometimes umpire and score as well, before driving everybody home again. So they're the reason, one of the main big reasons why we've gone from 7 years ago when we started doing this, from 7 teams in 2 competitions to 22 teams in 8 competitions. And the same goes for the women's game as well. We, again, 7 years ago, I think we had 1 regular female player playing competitive blind cricket. We've got about 30 now, which probably equates to about 10% of the whole competitions. As far as the women's programme goes, we've been going for about a year now. Excuse me. I've been training regularly through last summer. We played the first friendly last September, which went really well. The plan is to play a few friendlies through this summer, really push it on, get some good match experience, and then, as with any international team, when it comes to cricket, you've got to look a fair distance to find opposition. There are a few women's teams starting up now: India, Pakistan, Nepal, West Indies come to mind, and we've had a provisional offer from the West Indies to play this time next year. So that's the plan at the moment to work towards. We get a lot of funding. Most of the funding in blind cricket comes through the primary club. Most clubs have membership fees as well, but the primary club, without the primary club, we wouldn't be running the game as big as it is. They've given us some money for the coaching and training so far, and the women themselves are really making a great effort to do some fundraising. You may have seen the cycle challenge outside as you came with a couple of exercise bikes out there. I think some of the players will be on there this afternoon while the match is going on, taking it in turns. So various bits and pieces, station collections we're planning around the country. So yeah, we're getting all that together, and you know, the squad itself is really, you know, the travel from all over the country for this last year with their enthusiasm and commitment. It's been unwavering, hundreds of miles, some of them, and they still continue to do it. So yeah, that's where we are with that. We're connected with the ECB. We signed an agreement with the ECB in 2008. We run all the domestic competitions, and the ECB take care of the England men's blind team, organise everything, fund all that. And when we get to a certain level, they'll do the same with the women's team and push that on. At the moment, it's development, so it's still in the BCW. Everybody's happy with that, and we'll push things forward until we get to that level. And that's really where we are with the women's programme. So thank you very much, and enjoy the game this afternoon. I'm going to pass you over to Hassan Khan now to say a few words.
Hi guys, how do I follow those two? Crikey, I just also want to say thank you to absolutely everyone involved with organising today, particularly to Gary, who invited me, and to John. When I read the email, I was like, wow, asking me to come and talk to all of you guys. It's an absolute honour being here. As Chris said, I have a story. We all have a story. It's really, you know, how we tell it. It's really who's brave enough to come out. And I've come out because I want to inspire people. I want my story to work, and people like organisations like Manpower to pick it up and say, we're going to help blind people to get into employment. Because that's my passion, apart from cricket. Now, the way my life began was in a sort of like a tragic way, in that I was 3 years old in a village of 400 people, woke up one morning and had lost both my eyes to a failure of the optic nerve. My life changed in that from then onwards to the age of 9, 10, I had absolutely nothing. I mean, you name it. I didn't watch TV, I didn't watch cartoons, I didn't actually have any toys. I was neglected because there was a lack of understanding when it came to disability in my village. But how that left me was quite a damaged little child, because I didn't understand disability. I always assumed that I was going to be a useless human being who, when I grew up, I could potentially earn money by being a beggar on the streets of Pakistan. Now that is what reality was, and people laugh when they hear it in this country, but that's God honest truth. That was what was actually going to face me. Until my sister lost her sight at the age of 3, and the doctors invited me to come here, and they did some tests on us, and I started to go to school. And I remember at the age of 10, my first ever day of schooling, at the age of 10, September 25th, 1995, I went in and someone wrote my name in Braille. Now, of course I couldn't read Braille, but I felt it and it said Hassan. I had tears in my eyes. I went home and I said, I'm not going back home. I want to begin a life. I want to show myself and those people who doubted me that I could be something, that my eyes are not the only barrier. There's a lot more to me than just my eyes. I started studying really hard. I learned English, Braille in 6 months. But there was something missing in my life, and that was sport. I love sport. For my 12th birthday, I was given a Walkman, and during lunch breaks, I started tuning into TMS. And that really helped me improve my English, helped me learn and adore the game that I once knew as a 3-year-old, which was cricket. My Australian teacher introduced cricket to me at school with the big size 3 ball that we play in the league, and I was into it. And at the age of 16, Jeff, who's here, Jeff Smith, came to my school looking for young blind cricketers to go to Lords, the home of cricket. When I was blind in Pakistan, I forgot to dream because it wasn't for me. I started to dream again. I joined Metro at the age of 17. And on the first day of training, I thought it'll be a couple of blokes hitting the ball about, nothing big. I turned up and there's 40, 50-year-old guys playing cricket. And they're talking about wives, having good lives, everything that was normal, but not to me. I thought, how many days are you going to have that's actually a school day? Every day was a school day for me, I was learning. And 2 years later, to cut a long story short, 2 years later, I picked up my bat for England in Sri Lanka. That was my dream, to wear an international shirt. And, well, looking back now, I've played for England 32 times. I've been to India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, South Africa, Australia. Extremely, extremely humble, lucky. But I've worked for it, I have worked for it, and I think the other passion for me was to actually work for a charity, to make a difference to other blind people. It's very well me being blind and feeling sorry for myself and actually coming out of it on the other side, but could I help other people? But I work for Thomas Pocklington Trust. We are a sight loss charity and we help blind and partially sighted people. We home them, we organise outings, trips for them to save them from isolation, depression, and a lot more. And I think Manpower being here is an amazing thing because not enough of us are working. I mean, for example, when I was searching for a job, I wasn't working for 6 years. I was begging for jobs. I was filling out job application after job application, and I was being turned down. There was research into people saying, organisations saying, well, actually, employers are turning people away because of their sight. And it's sad. I went to teach Braille for a year, and the employer was told, you can't employ him because he doesn't have a teaching qualification. My boss in Balham Centre was partially sighted, and she said, no, I'm sure he'll do a good enough job. And I started that job, and 6 months later, I was into a full-time employment. That's the difference it made to my life. Now, can we, all of us, Manpower, BCW, can we all combine to make women's cricket, which it needs to be supported, bigger, better, so that they can compete on the world stage like I do? And also, can we help blind people get into work? Because we all deserve the same opportunity that Hassan had, speaking in third person now, that Hassan had and everyone else that we've had. Now, we're so good at building walls, can we build bridges? And I hope we can from today. Thank you.
Lewis, you want to say something?
Right, pre-warning, I haven't really prepared for this, so excuse me if I mess it up a bit. Just on behalf of all the girls, I really want to say thank you to absolutely everybody that's come today. It makes such a difference to all of us, and just to be able the opportunity to play a game, to learn, and hopefully you guys can learn from us as well. I think it should be a really good day, and we're all looking forward to it. I mean, from the girls' point of view, we love the game. I mean, we all travel from miles and miles away, but because we love the game. We come back every session, even if we're injured. One of our girls fell down the stairs yesterday. She's come up to me and said, "Lois, I fell down the stairs yesterday. I'm a bit bruised, but I'm still playing, all right?" I don't think I had a choice whether she was playing or not. But no, there's 100% commitment from these girls, and we're really, really looking forward to today. So if I go on to talking about the game, about how we play it, I think that's the main aim of me talking. So today in blind cricket, the difference between mainstream cricket is obviously mainly the ball, that's the main difference. You have different classifications of sight. So I'm actually going to pick on people and I haven't told them. Can I have Helen come towards me quickly? Just stand up where you are. Yeah. Okay, so Helen is what is classified as a B1, and she's going to describe to you now her vision.
I've played the game for a while, and basically when you're bowling you can either be left-handed or right-handed. I'm left-handed for bowling and right-handed for batting, but playing this type of game it's helped when I play for Durham as well. So you like improving at one game on the other at the same time. Yeah, that's basically it.
So how much can you see, Helen?
I've got no sight whatsoever. Can't even see right at all.
So thank you, Helen. So Helen's classified as B1. The adaptations for B1s are when you are bowling, you have, well, throughout the whole game you have to wear blackout shades. Because they're classified as a B1, the shades are just to make it equal. Because very rarely, I think I don't know if anyone knows the actual fact, there's a small percentage of people that actually have absolutely no vision at all. I mean, people look at you on the trains and stuff and they go, oh, they're totally blind. And I have a cane, and people look at me, and I'm like, I see you staring at me, by the way, but they don't know that. And I feel like saying something to them, but I can't. So there's a small percentage of people that actually are totally blind. So the aim of the blackout shades is you get adapted rules of being a B1, so it makes it even. And then it goes down to a B2, who, Mandy is going to explain to you her vision.
I've got retinitis pigmentosa, so it means it's a deteriorating eye condition. I've got 10% vision in the centre left. All my peripheral vision, night vision's gone. So I can see everything in the centre, but nothing around. So I still have some useful vision, but not a lot.
Okay, thank you, Mandy. So that's the next classification, and then you go slightly up more, which is B3. I'm a B3, so I have, here you go, aniridia, nystagmus, photophobia, glaucoma, and cataracts. So basically, my eyesight's looking out of the wrong end of binoculars. So I don't have a large peripheral vision, but what I see in my central's not too bad and not perfect, but my peripheral's a little bit more than, say, Mandy, who's a B2. So it's all different. I mean, sometimes we have B3s who, the B1s would think they can see everything, so then throw the ball at their face and go, oh yeah, I forgot you can't see, sorry. It happens all the time. It's all part of the game and all part of the fun. And days like today, we're all still learning. I mean, I've been playing since I was 11, which I've got to admit, it's not that long ago considering I'm only 18. But it's every single game is a learning curve. Our first ever game, we batted alright, didn't we? And then the next game we bowled better. And then the next game we batted better but didn't bowl so well. And it's every single game. We came the game on Saturday, didn't we, John? And by the end of the game, it's so much better than when we first started. It's about coming as a team. And whether it's communicated, because you've got some people who can't see that, as much as maybe a B3 compared to a B1, but you don't really notice the difference. I'm going to use Hassan as an example here. When I play for Sam as well as Hassan, when we're walking off the pitch, he'll ask people to grab onto his arm and start walking off. And We're like, Hassan, but you can't see either. Where are you going? He don't care. We'll walk them into anything. I mean, my boyfriend's got autism. He calls everyone, the ladies, blindies. It's funny. If you hear someone else say it on the train, if you heard a random person say to a blind lady, "Oh, come on, you blindy," I think you might kind of worry, wouldn't you? But in our eyes, it's actually fine. It doesn't bother us. And that's what we hope today from you guys, is that you can all interact just like anybody else with us, like we will with you. And we hope to help you and the guys in the Manpower about learning how to make things adaptable for people, because just as much as if there's a learning difficulty or physical disability, everybody has the equal rights. And I saw one programme where there was what they call the norm, and then everybody else was disabled. But the one norm person walking around was the odd one out. But that doesn't actually mean they're the odd one out, because everybody can communicate. No one ever needs to be odd one out. And hopefully you'll notice that on the pitch today.
Come on, man.
Yeah. You'll probably get a few bumps and bruises. You get a few people walking into each other, but it's all part of the fun. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, John.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much, guys. I think it's match time.
John.
Oh, sorry.
Go just for one, if I may. Simon from one of our clients from E.ON has kindly agreed to say a few words about some of the journey that you've gone on with employing people with visual impairments.
Kindly agreed to say a few words. Told last minute that they'd like me to share some stories, so completely unprepared, but thank you very much. So my name is Simon Fox-Underwood. I'm Head of Resourcing for E.ON, and we're fortunate enough that Manpower are one of our key strategic recruiting partners. It's not our journey. E.ON is massively committed to the inclusivity agenda, to helping people back into work, and one of the reasons we work so closely with Manpower is because they're committed to the same journey with us, and that's a hugely important part of the partnership we have. And there is a story that I have to share, but because I was only told that I was sharing it on the lawn, I'm afraid I haven't read it, so to my shame I cannot remember the colleague's name. But for anyone that's worried, I can't remember my children's names, so hopefully we're about fine. Manpower recruit into our contact centres for us. They provide us with temporary labour, but very often we take those people on as permanent employees. And there is one particular colleague, and I want to call her Miriam, but that may well not be her name. We took her on. We have no issues with helping anyone back into the workplace, as long as we can make suitable adjustments for them, because we know the power that that workforce brings for us. And I'm going to keep on calling her Miriam, which as long as that's her name is fine, we made adjustments to make the workspace effective for her. So we use speech to text and vice versa software. We changed the positioning of her desk to enable her to get in and out of the building easily, including moving her downstairs when her office was meant to be upstairs. But Miriam has a guide dog, and it wasn't quite working out with the guide dog. So Hassan, you talked about tearing down walls. We built walls. In fact, we built an entire pen. We built a pen for the guide dog outside, which backs onto the building, and we moved Miriam's desk so that she could sit by it. It's a fantastic story in terms of helping Miriam back to work. But more importantly for me, we share the story quite a lot when we go to events, but the reason we share the story is it's been brilliant for whichever contact centre it is. Miriam's a part of that culture. The dog is now a part of that culture. Having that sort of individual in our organisation, showing her passion for life, her enthusiasm, her willingness to get over any obstacle that's in her way, and our shared, and Manpower's shared willingness to do the same, has been fantastically powerful to help people around her, to help people like me remember how easy it is to make these adjustments, how easy it is to help people back to work. But when you do, how fantastic it is for them, for us, and ultimately for E.ON, for our customers. So days like today, hugely proud to be a part of this, hugely proud to be able to support, and really looking forward to making an idiot of myself for the cause. Thank you very much.